They say common sense. Well, it ain't so common. And I don't think we've seen any bigger example of that than with the election, whether it was Democrats thinking they were going to win by calling half the country garbage or morons or Nazis or whatever the hell else they want to call us. I don't think that was a great strategy. I don't think putting somebody out there and not allowing her to do interviews with the press or actually having no discernible policy was a good idea. But hey, you know what? Previous election, they got a vegetable elected, so what the hell? Might as well take a swing. Post-election has been even wackier. I mean, really, really wacky. Donald Trump is appointing everyone at their mother to various cabinet positions, which I'm digging, and we will get to. And, of course, the Democrats are out of their freaking minds. I mean, they have lost their ever-loving mind. We've seen women screaming, shaving their heads. We've seen the biggins telling everybody, we ain't having the sex until 28. Hey, man, good for you. We've seen Stephen King. What? Leaving Twitter. Joy Reid leaving Twitter. That lady, the hot lady, even Longoria, leaving Twitter, going back to Mexico or Spain, she said. I don't know. But in steps the voice of reason. And you know what? If you were going to say to me, name me a Democrat that is going to provide the voice of reason post-election, this guy, Charles Barkley, would have been on my short list because Charles Barkley always provides the voice of reason, always steps inside the stupid. And that's what this has been post-election, 2 weeks now. Just stupid. I'm going to scream. I'm going to cut my hair. I'm going to be a fatty and say, I'm not having sex with you. Okay. I'm leaving Twitter. Catch me on Threads. Okay. The level of stupid is off the chain. Yo. But in steps Charles. In steps Charles, who didn't, according to Charles, vote for Donald Trump. But he thinks, and I think he's right, he knows why the president-elect Trump was able to beat Kamala Harris so decisively. It's simple. Democrats lost to Donald Trump because y'all stupid. That's what I said. Common sense, it's stupid to call half the country deplorable, garbage, Nazis, racist, sex. I mean, God. But here's what also Charles had to say. I wish him, talking about Donald Trump, nothing but the best. But we lost. And I just want to say this to the Democrats. I'm an independent who voted Democrat. Do me this favor. Shut the F up. Yeah. Sir Charles, you are speaking for me right there. Hell, Donald Trump in 2 weeks has done more than Kamala Harris and Joe Biden did in 3.5 years? That's not why Sir Charles, though, is telling people to shut the F up. He's telling them to shut the F up. When you win, you get to say what you want to say. Bingo. When you lose, you need to shut the hell up. Bingo bongo. Yes, nobody wants to hear from you. Now, to that point, did you hear that? Silence. You know what that was? Kamala Harris speaking. You know what this is? Tim Walz speaking. We haven't heard from either of those clowns since the election. That's right. That is something I can respect from those two. The effeminate male Waltz has shut the hell up. I mean, it's that simple. Kamala Harris, nobody needs to hear the cackling. Nobody needs to hear the word salad, the stupidity. We have been unburdened by you, from you, whatever the right English is on that one. We have all been unburdened, and you two have done us a favor. You have STFU, and I'm here to say that's the first smart thing you two did. Good for you. Great for you. Because anything said doesn't matter. And as Sir Chucky said, When you lose, you shut up. Charles continued, we lost because we had no game plan. Duh. No policy. All right. We still haven't solved the immigration problems that they allowed. Never addressed inflation. See, Sir Charles, common sense. Bringing all these stupid stars out to rally the vote. What was that? That was grift, Charles. That was money laundering, Charles. That was an attempt to pay off people. Oprah, Harpo is Oprah backwards. That's the name of her company, production company. Guess what? Harpo got a mill. Oprah says, I ain't getting money. What are you talking about? I ain't getting money. Okay, Harpo did. Semantics. I love Beyonce. You got to say that. Beyonce and Elaine Bennett's two worst dancers in America, I stand by it. That ain't going to make me vote a certain type of way. You guys lost because y'all stupid. Come up with solutions. I don't think everybody who voted for Trump is a racist or whatever. I'm not a fan of the guy, but he's the president. I'm going to have to respect the office. Common freaking sense. Tell us what you're going to do. Not somebody, the stallion, acting like she's having sex with air for $5 million. What are you doing? Hey, man, Charlemagne the Stallion or whatever the hell her name is. Oh, man, she shook her ass. I'm going to vote Harris. Wait a second. Inflation's through the roof. Immigration, people are robbing, raping, and stealing left and right. Yeah, I don't care. Somebody, the stallion, shaked her ass. Oh, okay. Come up with solutions, Sir Charles said. Bingo, bango, bongo. I consider myself an independent. I do. But I have paid attention. And guess what? Sir Charles is right. Ain't no solutions on that side. None. Zero zip. And you saw how prepared Trump was. He's already hit the damn ground running. Charles is not done. He says, oh, another thing. The next one of you fools, idiots, and jackasses send me an article about Bruce Pearl supporting Trump. I'm going to punch you in your face. Bruce Pearl can vote for who he wants to. Bruce Pearl got two jobs, win basketball games and graduate players. People can vote for who they want to. I voted for Kamala, but like I said, we didn't win. It's all our fault for not having a game plan. We're not having concerts and rallies. People want solutions. They want money in their pockets. They want the border secure. 99% of us, myself included, had no issue with the border in previous elections. None of us did. I guarantee you Charles Barkley in his lifetime, we're the same age, probably paid the same amount to politics growing up, which is none, probably paid the same amount of politics now, which is a lot. We never heard of immigration problems. Every single president until this one handled the immigration problem simply. You come in illegally, we're going to toss you out. We're going to patrol the border. You got legal documentation, come on in. You get a work visa, green card, you apply for citizenship, we'll find you out. We'll get it figured out. But now these idiots decided to open the border. And with Twitter or X, all kind of social media, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, we all see who's doing what. I mean, how many times did you open Twitter? And did you see illegal immigrant rapes or robs? Right now, the Laken Kelly trial is going on. Laken Riley, is going on. It started. Why? An illegal immigrant lying in wait murdered a young woman on a jog at the University of Georgia. We never saw that before. And if it happened, it was a somewhat isolated incident. I guarantee you, I know this for me personally. Now, when I got older, I started following politics. Actually, when I was a kid, I did too. I'm sorry, I kind of misstated that. I told you, I read 3 newspapers, Sun-Times, Tribune, and the Gary Post-Tribune on Sundays. And I read them from cover to cover. Every day I read it from cover to cover, the Gary Post-Tribune. So I have followed this, but I never even considered that we would have a president that closed the border, even in the last election. I'm sorry, even in 2016, when Trump beat Clinton. You know what? Hillary Clinton was saying the same things Donald Trump was. We got to have a secure border. Apparently, everybody has asked about immigration in every debate, in every single presidential race. And every candidate on both sides until this year, or Biden, has said we got to close the border. So Charles is right. You don't have a plan. You got nothing. You got dick, as Jimbo Bodner used to say when we played cards. And you got your ass beat. It ain't about white guys. It ain't about misogyny. It ain't about none of that. It's about you ain't got no plan. Period. I knew somebody eventually would come up as the voice of reason. I knew somebody of influence would say something that made sense instead of blaming. Thank you, Charles Barkley. Thank you. Next, Pat McAfee, my boy. My boy Pat McAfee, he ain't wrong about this. You know, Pat McAfee is his own guy. His production company is his, not ESPN's. His show is his. Think of it this way. McAfee does a show from right over there. And he basically lets ESPN put it on their airwaves. They pay him a ton of money to do it. Pat's also obviously involved in their college football stuff on game day. All right. But he ain't owned by ESPN. Not even a little bit. So McAfee has another gripe with ESPN. Pat loves to take shots at his partners at ESPN, and I look at it like this. Pat's pointing out the obvious to make them better. Seriously, he is. He's pointing out, and this one you'll agree with me on. You know, this time he's attacking the network for how poor their college football accounts are run on X, particularly after the college football top 12 was announced. Pat says, I go to X. I'm like, all right, what's going on? Well, let me go to ESPN's college football account. This should have me. Nothing. Not a single activity. So then ESPN's actual account puts out the list of the top 12. But shouldn't the college football account be doing that? Yes. Yes. Shouldn't that be like a one-stop shop for everything that's going on, especially in this brand new time? What's the brand new time? College football, 12-team playoffs, committees, 1 through 12, 7 at-large bids, 5 automatic bids. It's brand new. ESPN and McAfee will get to this. ESPN is putting billions into this. I don't know what they're doing. That's 3 million followers, too. That's a pretty big account. At some point, it had to have something, right? Because people don't just follow that for no reason, meaning it had to have some juice. It had to have this ESPN college football account, had to have something to draw 3 million people to it. He's right. He's absolutely right. People don't just follow that for no reason. So maybe a little bit more activity there from ESPN, especially if you own all the rights to the playoff. If you're going to spend billions of dollars on this brand new playoff, maybe there should be a vehicle of information on your phone that people can just go to very easily. There is. It's called X. He's being facetious. But what do we know? The answer he gives. More than them MFers. I'll tell you that. He ain't wrong. He is absolutely right. And everybody at ESPN should take notice. I'll tell you this. There is nobody, my opinion, in the history of broadcasting, of sports broadcasting, that is better at promotion than Pat McAfee. I don't care whether it's on the set of Game Day. I don't care if how his Twitter account is run, how he's promoted the people that work with him, for him, whatever. I'm telling you right now, there is nobody smarter in this space than Pat McAfee. And he is actually doing ESPN a favor by putting whatever hires they've made to run this account on notice. People are paying attention. Your biggest star in college football, maybe on the whole network, is paying attention. Are you? No, that's good. See, I view this from a coach's lens, and McAfee may be viewing this from a player's lens. I don't know. But either way, as a coach or a player, you see something wrong, and you feel like, yo, I got to do something here. I do. The college football, the ESPN college football account, which I don't follow, literally has 3 million followers. I would imagine I'm the only guy that doesn't follow it, that you know in the sports media. Never really even thought to. Why? I don't know. Maybe I never thought to, or maybe I did once and it didn't give me anything. But ESPN got lucky. They got lucky that McAfee called this out, because I guarantee you, that ain't going to happen again. The NFL on ESPN has 4.1 million followers. So to Pat's point, somebody had to be watching this stuff. There had to be good content. There did. There had to be great content on this. 4.1 million people, or 3 million in the college football Twitter, don't just show up for nothing. No, McAfee's right. That's so smart. And if ESPN and all their little DEI hires behind the scenes would wake up, they would sit at the knee of McAfee and learn how to promote and learn what the hell to do. Period. Hey, America's worst person, according to me, Megan Rapinoe, sports division, nonviolent crime division, non-crime division, Megan Rapinoe, claims Trump only beat Kamala Harris by a close margin before going on to explain how she's disassociated from reality. Now let's examine. So Charles Barkley simply gives you the fact, not the facts, his opinion, and it's common sense, right? No plan. You got to have a plan. You can bring Beyonce up there. You can bring J-Lo up there. You can bring anybody you'd like up there. And we're going to go, okay, what are you going to do about the border? What are you going to do about inflation? What are you going to do about the economy? What's going on here? Crime's out of control in our streets, and we seem to have prosecutors that don't care. You got anything for it? Well, here's Megan Rapinoe, because she, of course, is smarter than everybody. See, the angry lesbian must chime in. I feel overpowered by the reality that this is going to be a Trump's presidency. Now, let me just stop everybody there. She's going to say this, which we've seen before. Right. I mean, did you lose power? Are you enslaved? Did women get kicked out of the country for having opposing views? I mean, I'm looking around here. Gritty, help me out. Have you lost rights? Hang on. So I don't feel like I'm saying anything new. Well, that's probably true. But the reality where anything crazy could happen any day, huh? I think that's really overwhelming. Really? It overwhelms you that anything could happen any day? Isn't that life? I think it is. No, really. I think it's life. I think as you go through life, anything good, anything bad can happen to you any day. What? You don't see that? Only good things have happened to you your whole life? God bless you. Now, seriously, I think that's really overwhelming. What is overwhelming? Well, you can't get up in bed? Can't get out of bed? Can't go do your job? Can't type 9 Sue Bird? What's overwhelming? What are we talking about here? I think that I feel not so personally scared because I think that we live in a very progressive place. We're unbelievably privileged in our place in the world and life, and, financially and all those things. Huh? Let me read that again. I want to make sure I read this to you properly. I feel overwhelmed by the reality that this is going to be a Trump presidency, which we've seen before, so I don't feel like I'm saying anything new, but the reality where anything crazy could happen any day. I think that's really overwhelming. Huh? I think that I feel not so personally scared because I think that, we live in a very progressive place. We're unbelievably privileged in our place in the world and life. And, financially and all those things. What? I got 2 words for you. Swat. Swat. That's a combination of say what, said fast. Swat. That's what we used to say, like, what? Swat. Say what used to be a big thing to say back in the 80s and the 90s. I just sped it up. Swat. What are you saying here? Queen of the lesbians? I'm thinking of all my trans friends and people that I know and trans kids. I'm thinking about the potential of mass deportation if that's going to happen and kind of just general chaos. Yeah? What are you thinking now, honey? What are you thinking now when you walk into a Walgreens and everything from toothpaste to detergent to speed stick is under glass? That's not chaotic. I wonder if Megan Rapinoe ever, probably not, thinks to ask the clerk, what's crime like here? I ask the guy over there at the CVS and I ask the guy over there at the Walgreens all the time. What's crime like? They both say the same thing, idiots. Idiots running around. Pete the cop will tell you, our beloved prosecutor, who is horseshit, Ryan Mears, doesn't prosecute nobody, and criminals in Indy know it. But I guarantee you, Megan Rapinoe, when she comes up for air from under Sue Bird, doesn't think to ask those questions. No. I know there is a lot of people who maybe voted strictly on the economy because of X, Y, or Z, but to see such hateful message really resonates with a large percentage of the electorate. This is America. We were founded on slavery and inequality. Okay. What does that mean? What was the message of hate? That we're not going to give every prisoner in jail transgender surgeries. We're not going to pay for it with our tax dollars. What was really the hate? I mean, I look forward to hearing what the hate was. They all say this stuff, right? They all say, okay, let's say the country was founded on slavery and inequality. It's certainly not there now. You just admitted it. We're privileged now. I mean, what do you want me to tell you, lady? I mean, going back a million years is great, but you just said yourself, we're unbelievably privileged in our place in the world and life. And, financially and things. Here's to hoping the multimillionaire couple of Rapinoe and Bird can make it through the next 4 years. I raise a glass, living in Trump's America. Things could get difficult living in their high-rise apartment in Soho, arguably the most progressive neighborhood in the solar system. I'll pray for you, Megan. Megan, we know it's hard. Even though you admit it's not hard, we know it's hard, Megan. Even though you won't admit your privilege, we understand. Back in 1492, there was slavery in 1592, but it's now 2024, and you've admitted yourself we all live in a place of privilege. If you think criminals should be allowed in here illegally, God bless you. If you think that we're just supposed to turn a blind eye to that, God bless you. Nobody gives a damn about transgender kids. Nobody gives a damn about hurting anybody that's in the transgender community. The only thing people talk about is we don't want our tax dollars spent on transgender surgery. We don't want kids mutilated. Seems pretty reasonable. I don't know. Maybe it's not. Lastly, personally, I want transgender women to play sports, but I want them to play against the men. I mean, it's simple. Nobody's killing transgenders. Nobody's angry at transgenders. Just saying, I don't want my tax money to get some prisoner some surgery. Look, if I went to jail for the rest of my life, I'd consider cutting my wang off and headed to the women's prison. I certainly don't want to be in a dude's prison where I got a boner garage in the back. Who does? No. I don't need that. I don't need some dude trying to put a tattoo where he left his mark. I don't want to be catching. Stop it. People are nuts. Literally, we're unbelievably privileged in our place in the world and life, and you know, financially and all those things. And then, of course, we're angry. Hateful message. What hateful message? What didn't you like? Where did anybody say anything negative about transgender people? Other than we're going to get the woke stuff out of the military. That ain't transgender. That's just common sense. This is cool. This is OutKick related. And I'm digging this. A dozen women have filed a lawsuit against the Mountain West Conference and its commissioner, along with the officials at San Jose State University, alleging violations of Title IX and their First Amendment rights, all stemming from the presence of transgender player Blair Fleming on the San Jose State roster. You can say this is a hateful message, and I'm sure that's what What's Your Nuts is going to do. It's not hateful. Go play with the men. You were a man. You're trying to be a chick. Go play with the men. Simple. What's hard about that? No one's saying don't play. No one's being hateful here. People are simply trying to protect women's sports. Women have worked very hard to promote, enhance women's sports. Megan Rapinoe among them. But Megan Rapinoe and Sue Bird, who, by the way, no chance she stays lesbian. No chance in hell. She has straight eyes. Anyway, Megan Rapinoe and Sue Bird are among those that helped advance women's sports. They were good players. Fine. But they're at the end of the line. And if they were coming up and their place got taken by a dude, they'd be pissed. And they seemingly are fighters, so I'm sure they would fight for the right to not have their place in women's sports taken. But this has been awesome by our crew here at OutKick. The plaintiffs, which include San Jose State co-captain Brooke Slusser and 2 former Spartans, as well as athletes from 4 other Mountain West schools, allege the conference adopted a new transgender participation policy in an attempt to chill and suppress the free speech rights of women's athletes. The suit, which is seeking an emergency injunction relief ahead of the Mountain West Conference volleyball tournament set to begin in Vegas November 27, is the latest development in a story that made headlines since OutKick, that's right, OutKick reported it first. OutKick first reported on Fleming's inclusion on the San Jose State roster back in April. The NCAA, Mountain West Conference, and college athletic directors across the country are failing women. Bill Bach, lead attorney for the plaintiffs, and the pro-woman organization Independent Council of Women's Sports Icons, which is funding and backing the lawsuit. Now let me explain this to you. I'm going to read this again because you're going to hear this is described as hate. The NCAA, Mountain West Conference, and college athletic directors across the country are failing women. That's not hate. That's an opinion. That's an opinion that's going to be legally tested in court. That's the way America works. Not having some blue-haired crazy woman and her lesbian lover telling all of us that everything said not in agreement is hate. It's not hate. It's an opinion. It's an opinion somebody, a jury, maybe a judge is going to have to decide on. Because the administrators don't have the courage to do their job, we have to ask federal courts to do their job for them. That's pretty good. Look, athletic directors scared to death. Athletic directors and bosses all across the country know, man, in the client we are currently coming out of, man, you can't get rid of a lesbian woman. Make it a black lesbian woman, and that woman's got a job for lifetime. She got tenure. She got tenure no matter what the gig is. But that's okay. No one's saying that's hate. That's the current way that it is. I wonder, somebody asked me this yesterday. I thought it was funny. When Trump comes in office, is it safe for a white heterosexual male to get back in commercials? I don't know. That's not hate. That's funny. ESPN NFL analyst, OutKick liar, and my biggest fan, Mina rebutted that argument this week by claiming, by claiming the narrative of bad modern quarterback play is just a nostalgia thing, arguing that plenty of young quarterbacks were great in the modern NFL right away. And the game demands more physically and mentally at that position than it used to be. That's cool. There's a narrative that the quarterback play is not good right now, or the young quarterbacks aren't playing well, when the best quarterback in the league are all like an average age of 26 and getting incredible rookie year out of Jaden Daniels. Drake May is actually looking decent. Yeah, are they good or are they decent? I don't know. Shockingly, in a horrible situation, we can't really compare quarterback play stats across one eras anymore because Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, etc., they're not going to put up those yards anymore, but they're still obviously better than those guys. Not even close. No, I've not seen one guy. I've watched this my whole life. Not one quarterback that I have seen throws the ball like Dan Marino. Not one, not even Joe Namath. I would argue the two best throwers of the football. And I would also argue Tom Brady's right there with him. Now, none of these guys are close. I get it. Mina Kimes got to do that. She wants access. She wants everybody to love her. That's fine. The other thing is defenses are much better now. Everyone was like, well, they're barely throwing it downfield. There's more disguise, more athletic. Pressures are crazy. It's just harder now. I think the hardest part isn't even evaluating whether quarterbacks are ready. Not only are we bad at evaluating the quarterback position, we seem to be struggling when evaluate the situation that they're walking into. No, you seem to be. No, you're bad at it. I mean, those of us that pay attention and actually know something about sports, have coached and played, we're not bad at it. Not bad at all. You are. Don't put we onto you. You're a DEI hire that knows nothing about what you're talking about. You continue to be hired. You're a nice little girl. Good for you. But don't put we. I mean, everybody knew, maybe you didn't, that Caleb Williams was walking into a shit situation in Chicago. You know, you're the one that told us how great Shane Steichen is as a play caller and a coach, how impressed we're supposed to be. Your exact quote is, anybody not impressed by Shane Steichen is wild to me. I wasn't. Neither was Mike Lombardi, longtime GM. Neither was Rick Venturi, 35-year defensive coordinator. Really, neither is anybody, but you are. Nah, come on. Don't put we in there. You don't know your ass from third base. Stay in your lane. You're a little DEI hire. You got all the cute little words. Just stop. Just do your thing. Smile, look cute, try to act like you know something, use cute little comebacks that millennials use, and move it along. You're making a lot of money. Don't try to actually evaluate the stuff. Don't try to do that. Stop it. Stop it, stupid. That's enough of that clown. Eva Longoria, who stumped for Kamala Harris and once got groped and kissed by Joe Biden, revealed, oh, remember that? She had to push him away. She's a pro at it, though. She revealed that she and her family have moved out of the country after Trump's election victory. Well, that's hurtful. That's terrible. She also cited how California has become a shithole, being completely oblivious, of course, to the fact that California has been under Democratic rule for years. Seriously. What are we doing? What are we doing? Like, I sit there and I go, what are we doing? I had my whole adult life here, but even before the pandemic, it was changed. The vibe was different. And then COVID happened, and it pushed it over the edge. Whether it's the homelessness or taxes, not that I want to shit on California, just feels like this chapter in my life is done now. Well, no kidding. I mean, if you're a human being, you know California is a dumpster fire. If you're a human being with a thinking brain, you know it's been under Democratic rule forever. Why do you think it's a dumpster fire? And, Pookie, don't you think, a little bit, don't you think maybe that since the Democrats have been in control for 12 of the 16 years, and look at the hellhole our country is becoming, don't you think there's a correlation there? So you should be happy that the Democrats got out of the presidency and now you got a shot. You do. Shocking part is not that he won. Oh, here we go. I'm on TV. I got a nice rack and a pretty face. So I'm smart. It's that a convicted criminal who spews so much hate could hold the highest office. I kept waiting for this hate. I did. I kept waiting for this hate. I kept looking for it. I mean, maybe in the 80s he did. Maybe, I don't know, grab him by the snatch. That's not great, but when was that? I mean, I kept waiting in this campaign for all the hate. I don't see it. Now, you can make it up. You can make up that anything he says jokingly or not jokingly is hate. I get it. If he keeps his promise, it's going to be a scary place. Really? Let's see. If he keeps his promises, we're going to have the greatest economy ever, the lowest inflation ever, the lowest immigration numbers ever. States are going to have abortion. States are going to have education. We're going to have better education. What exactly is scary? I mean, we already have the weaponization of politics against their politicians. We saw it with Trump from Biden. What's scary? Come on, Pookie, don't just say these little things. What's scary? Am I making a difference? No, you did not. But why should you? You play other people in scripted TV or movies. Why should you make a difference? I was so untethered to the core of what I believe because I truly believed in my soul that the best person wins. It did. Side pieces rarely are the best person. This guy hires thousands of employees. You know, Sammy the Bull Gravano said about Donald Trump, the mob tried to bribe him. Now, if you don't know who Sammy the Bull is, he's second in command to John Gotti all those years, and he turned into a rat. He turned into being a chicken little rat, like most do. But they tried to bribe Trump. Didn't work. How's Trump's kids looking? Pretty good. I mean, when you look at it, I would argue the best person did win. You got to have something to run on. Kamala Harris didn't run on anything. I'm just saying. What can I tell you? And then that happened. And I was like, oh, wait, the best person doesn't win. No, it did. Clearly. I got to escape. I get to escape and go somewhere. Most Americans aren't so lucky. They're going to be stuck in this dystopian country. And my anxiety and sadness is this for them. Well, good for you. I guarantee you, promise you, there ain't no chance she has zero anxiety. There is no chance she has any sadness for anybody but herself. Hey, by the way, David Robinson is being profiled on Fox Nation. I had an absolute blast being a part of it. Took an afternoon, went with the producers, went on a basketball court, went outside, and had a blast. Watch the new David Robinson feature on News Nation. On Fox Nation. You're going to like it. David Robinson's a special guy. I played golf with him one time. Kind of enjoyed it. Interesting dude. I was proud to be put in that special. Go give it a watch over there, Fox Nation. We all wanted to see how good he was because he was so different coming from the Naval Academy. The way he played, the way he moved, his size, his strength, his skill was absolutely perfect for the NBA.
The San Antonio Spurs used their first-round pick to take David first overall in the 1987 NBA draft, even though he wouldn't be able to start until his service was completed.
The San Antonio Spurs kind of went out on the limb because if he didn't sign with them, that meant he would be available in the next draft for someone else.
I think from the Spurs standpoint, it was the easiest bet that anybody in that organization ever made.
You know, he's a guy that you want to coach because he can listen and learn. He's a guy that you know off the court's going to do all the right things.